you are silent about your pain, they'll kill you and say you enjoyed it. Zora Neale Hurston. Welcome to the Matrix. Good afternoon, sisters, brothers. Like the Bible, I want to start off with lineage, pay homage, and I want to expose you to a few things before I get started. This is me putting my professor hat on. I come before you not with numbers, but with names. Names that echo, names that roar, names that shake tables. Fannie Lou Hamer, who told the truth until it cracked through concrete. Frances Cress Welsing, who made us see the war on Blackness through a clinical prophetic lens. Ta-Nehisi Coates, who documented the weight of memory and violence of invisibility. Toni Morrison, the griot who showed us that language could be a sword and a bomb. We have authors who reminded us that until the lion tells its story, the tale will always glorify the hunter. Ama Ata Adio, who centered African women in the narrative of liberation and told our stories with clarity and fire. Sheikh Anta Diop, who used science and carbon dating and rigorous scholarship to return Africa's stolen past to its rightful place in human history. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who challenged erasure and insisted that complexity is our birthright. Each of them, in their own right, asked the same question. What does it mean to be counted, to be seen, and believed? For centuries, African people have lived data-rich lives in systems that call us data poor. Systems have counted everything: land, livestock, sugarcane, cotton, barrels of oil, everything, that is, except us. We've been the engine of the economy, the soul of the culture, the tillers of the soil, but somehow never the subject of the spreadsheet. Our births, misrecorded. Our work, undervalued. Our pain, disregarded. Our continent, underrepresented. Our opinions, filtered through foreign algorithms. Invisible in policy and unmentioned in economic modeling. They measure our movement, but not our meaning. What a tragedy to live on the most documented continent of extraction, but the least documented of our experience. In my last talk, I laid out the triangle offense policy. That's why you see me carrying around this ball. A strategy to mobilize our people, our capital, and our intellect toward a shared future. But let's be clear, strategy alone is not enough. A vision without proof can be dismissed. A plan without evidence can be erased. So today, I return that conversation through a different doorway, one that sharpens our gaze and grounds our claim. If the triangle offense showed us the play, receipts gives us the proof. It's how we turn memory into data, participation into value, and contributions into record. Undeniable, unshakable, ours. So today, receipts is the answer to a quiet generational scream. We are here. We've been here. We've been speaking. And now we're recording it. Big love to AfroTalks for giving us the space to tell our stories in our voices and on our own terms. Receipts is not a moment or a mobile application. It's a memory bank. It's a mirror for those who have been made to forget the shape of their own reflections. It's a ledger of life, where ordinary people can log the price of tomatoes and tamale, or the heartbreak of a failed health clinic visit in Kisumu, and know that what they say matters. We are building Africa's first community-owned data infrastructure, starting from the voices of the street vendors, the seamstresses, the youth hustling Wi-Fi to study, to the rural elders with stories too sacred to be forgotten. This is a bottom-up revolution. No ivory towers, no outside extractors, just our people, giving and receiving, answering and asking, collecting receipts. But let me be clear, this isn't innovation for innovation's sake. We're here today to talk about a solution. This is a technology with memory. This is Toni Morrison meets AI. This is Fannie Lou Hamer with a dashboard. This is Shep Ante Diaz with carbon dating in the cloud, proof that our past is not speculation, it's data. This is Francis Cresswelling with analytics, exposing the structure beneath the story. Receipts is designed for the 70%, those whose phones don't have screens that curve, but who carry entire economies in their pockets. Smartphones or not, we reach you. USSD, SMS, voice in your language. Built in Ghana, scaling across the continent. Our platform asks questions like, how did that policy affect you? Did you eat today? Do you feel safe at night? And when people answer, they don't just respond, they record, they register memory, they claim space. Dr. Welsing taught us to think critically about the system that we participate in. Receipts teaches us to design new systems entirely, ones that don't ask permission. Why is that the people closest to the problem are always furthest from the solution? This is political science. This is the study of who gets what and why. This is the economics that we practice. Democratic capitalism was made in whiteness. Receipts flips that script. The community doesn't just use the app, they own it. They are the data. They are the analytics. They are the storytellers. And they get compensated ethically, fairly, transparently. Our model doesn't extract from the poor or the most vulnerable. It builds wealth in trust, in dignity, and yes, in currency. I fell in love with art ever since I got this 64 box of Crayola crayons with the sharpener on the back to start my school year. So let me paint you a picture. A national health ministry in Nairobi launches a maternal care initiative. But thanks to receipts, they realized that mothers in rural Garissa are dropping out of antenatal care. Why? Because of the language gap. The materials were printed in English and Swahili, but the mothers, they speak Somali. That kind of precision is power. That kind of data, it saves lives. Or imagine this. The local government in Accra wants to measure the success of a food subsidy. They launch a campaign on receipts, and in 7 days, they have 15,000 responses. Mapped by gender, by age, by income, by district. No middlemen, no distortion, just truth on demand. And picture this in Nigeria. The state government along the Lekki corridor is exploring ways to grow tourism that tap into diaspora investment. They use receipts to capture real-time data from returning Nigerians and historic diaspora travelers during peak seasons, tracking spending patterns, identifying infrastructure gaps, and pinpointing exactly where hospitality and transportation services are falling short. Within weeks, they have live dashboards showing which communities could become investment ready if roads were improved, if guest houses are formalized, if tour routes are structured. This is not abstract. The triangle offense in action. Ball movement through diaspora remittances, knowledge, and investments, coordinated with local government priorities to build something that is lasting. So let me say this to you clearly. Data is not just numbers. I think there's many talks where you can find me saying the same thing. Data is a weapon. Data is dignity. We are the descendants of looted kingdoms, coded lineages, and oral encyclopedias. And we're taking our stories back. Receipts is our Sankofa. It reaches backwards to fetch what was lost and moves forward with us into the future that no longer erases us. So I ask you, what if the next revolution wasn't televised? What if it was texted? What if dignity could be coded in a poll? What if our mothers, our grandmothers, our neighbors became not just respondents, but architects of a data-driven transformation? Receipts isn't asking the world for permission to change. We are making the change inevitable. As Toni Morrison said, if you can't imagine it, you can't have it. And we imagine a world where Africa is not seen as a market, but respected as a source of truth, a source of wisdom, a source of power. And our receipts, they prove it. They prove that Africa's greatest contribution has never only been what's pulled from our grounds. It's what's carried in our minds, our hands, and our hearts. It's the philosophies that shape civilizations. It's the technology and tactics borrowed, repackaged, and sold back to us. It's the culture that moves markets. It's the rhythm that drives industries. It's the genius that built empires, measured in not our GDP, but theirs. Receipts makes that undeniable. It turns what was once dismissed as intangible into evidence, into record, into power. Receipts is not just a tool. It's an engine room that feeds the triangle offense. It's how we track the ball, how we follow the movement of our contributions, and how we then turn dispersed genius into coordinated power. And I carry that torch for what the triangle offense represents. Speaking here today in Lagos, Nigeria at the Matrix edition of the AfroTalk. I want to pass it forward to my brother who's not here with us, Diallo Sumbri, aka the real Nana One, to meet me in Rwanda as we outdoor the triangle offense policy in East Africa. So this is my benediction, Black church style. As we leave this space today, I need you to hear me clearly. We are not waiting for permission, okay? We are building the table, setting the agenda, and writing the playbook. We are documenting what has always been ours. This is the work of generations. This is the work of those who have come before us and those who have yet to come. This is the work of those who see the matrix and decide to rewrite the code. This is the ball in motion. The court is set, the play is drawn. The only question that remains is, will you join us? Will you build? And will you come? Thank you.